Well, good morning once again, and thank you so much for watching UBC. And of course, good morning, Uganda. Now, it is your current affairs show where we come to you looking at a couple of aspects. Of course, in different segments, later on we shall also be giving you the sports updates. But today, in our GMU agenda, we'll be looking at a matter that is quite important, that has caused perhaps quite a couple of controversies when you look at the youth population in Uganda today. The biggest question is, what do they do? How much is the country prepared for these people? Perhaps how much are they prepared as well for them themselves? Now we'll be looking at and discussing at the youth unemployment and job creation in Uganda. Of course, to discuss this with us in studio is one of, I would say, the experts, or perhaps quite knowledgeable about youth employment and employable people, perhaps, or youth for that matter. That is Sabiti Herbert, the Managing Director of Ridgeline Industrial Training College. Sabiti, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is good to have you in our spacious UBC studios.
It's my pleasure too.
All right. Now, of course, with me, my partner in crime, usual suspect, Ndugu Nyonyintono Robert. Robert, morning once again.
Morning, how are you?
How are you?
Very fine.
Good to know.
Support morning, so I'm happy.
Good to know. Are you excited about farming? You do farming, yes.
I do farming.
Oh, surely you must be
but
excited.
of late I have problems.
No, let's save the problems.
Fake. Someone has to help us. I buy pesticides to kill ticks.
They instead kill the
I think as if I've just got some way of artificial insemination. They just increase pesticides.
Wow.
So there's a problem. Yes, there's so many fake pesticides right now, and all these on the market. Someone has to save the
Well,
farmers.
of course, at least you've heard it from the host mouse chairman, Nyonyintono. But again, Robert, now back to our topic. We're looking at unemployment, and the biggest question, and this has been quite a big challenge to everyone out there, and our viewers would want also to understand. Now, we must understand the definition of employment before we can have this argument, and we must give shape to what is called, or what should be called, employment. And that's where I bring in Sabit to just give shape to this word, employment. One would ask, what is employment?
What is employment? Good morning, Uganda, once again. I'm Herbert Sabit, the Managing Director of Ridgeline Industrial Training College. But I also am a managing partner of Ridgeline Valuers and Surveyors, also a founder of Iconic Projects. Now, the issue of employment, what is employment? Adding value to an organization or wherever you are. If you want to be employed, you have to add value to an organization. As simple as that.
It is basically someone who's brought on to add value.
To add value.
Okay. Now, that brings me to the next question. Because the biggest challenge is not actually unemployment, but do we have a group of people who are employable? Who is an employable person?
Oh, yeah.
Who is a person who can add value to an institution?
The person who is willing to add value. For example, you are there, you have finished campus or an institution, and then you go looking for a job and you apply. I apply for any job in the organization. Really? It means you are not ready to add value. How can you apply for any job? Should I give you a cleaning? Should I give you you are an accountant and you apply? I apply for any job in an organization. So you are not yet there.
You don't know the value you're supposed to add.
You don't know the value you are supposed to add.
Wow.
When people come to my desk, I ask, what are you bringing on the table? And organization now, they want to know how much you are bringing on the table. So it doesn't mean that you have finished campus and you are a social scientist or an accountant, and you just come in like that. You have to have skills. You have to know how much you can contribute to an organization. You shouldn't be a liability to an organization.
Sabiti, someone would think that by virtue of having finished university, having finished college, with a certificate, with a diploma, with a degree, with a master's, and whatsoever, this person is ready to be employed.
Automatically.
Automatically, they have studied, they have the qualifications, so they are employable. And you're saying even with that, they are unemployable, so you have to make them employable. How to make the unemployable employable? Throw more light on that.
Not the case. I give my example when I finished Makerere University as a graduate in business studies. As an accountant, I got a job as accounts assistant in a certain Korea company. Now reaching there, they give me the desk, they give me the computer, and they give me tally start. They give me bank reconciliation, which I passed at university, but I knew nothing. I knew nothing. Now, the good thing is that the supervisor was my colleague, and he had to take me through. He had to mentor me, take me through mentorship, and I clicked. You know, you go there. The education system has given us to cram and you pass, and even you, the media, you only focus those who have passed. That's why when all-level exams come out, you just go to those who have
good grades.
Yeah, good grades and what, not focusing on we might find they crammed. So it's all about cram work and all that. So I passed. I almost got first class, but I didn't know anything. So I think even the internship we have, the university now they send students to different organizations. They look there and they reach there and they become T-boys and T-girls. They're even frustrated. They don't have transport to take them there. So there's a lot.
So they're simply tourists within the areas they have gone
exactly.
to, learning buildings and corners and where this and that is for.
Actually, when you say that, Sabiti, it does make very much sense. And now come to think about it, that people are sent to work. For example, when we look at internship, people who would be making an effort to learn something is being sent around airtime, Uganda. Now, do they actually even have hands-on learning? Which makes sense and when you say that. But we're looking at Uganda. Let us first look at what is the current unemployment rate in Uganda, if you may know.
Yes, I know it is current is around 2.1%. But remember, that's for those who are skilled, those who are looking for jobs. Now, people say it is 78% unemployment. But how can it be 78% when you don't have skills? So it is 2.1%, above 2.1%, slightly above 2.1% of unemployment. Those who are ready to work. But still those who are ready to work are not ready. Why am I saying that? Because they don't have the required skills an organization can offer. They can offer to an organization. Yeah.
So with this, we are looking at people, perhaps fresh graduates.
Fresh graduates, yes.
Now, what would be the challenge? And in your opinion, as a person who's dealing with skilling, what is the challenge? Is it the academic system, the curriculum? Is it the institutions of learning? Is it the attitude of the students, or perhaps the attitude of the employers?
Oh, the challenge actually, Ugandans, I don't want to blame anyone. I want to
apportion responsibility.
To apportion responsibility
it sounds more kind, but more or less the same.
Yeah, to apportion responsibility to the youth themselves. Yeah, when I think also maybe to parents, parents are giving us food. I finish campus and you send me Irish potatoes, you send me money, and I just chill in my hostel. You send me money. Recently, I was in Israel, and I was surprised that actually someone who is in vacation, they are working to get tuition for their university in Israel. A young girl told me that I'm working. So I asked her, "Are your parents poor, or are you an orphan?" She asked me, "Is there any Jew who is poor? But we have to work." Now, for us, we finish campus and we still depend on our parents.
Because you don't have a job, they must make ends meet for you.
Yeah, but let me tell you, when I finished and I was in Mutungo, rented with my colleagues, we had Irish, we had everything around us, and we would just wake up in the morning and just chill, watch Nigerian movies, all that. But the moment we had no Irish, we had nothing to eat, we woke up and went to Kampala to look for jobs and also to work. That's when I became a freelance in some banks. I became a freelance in the insurance companies. I also sold shirts. So there is much to do, but because we are satisfied
with nothing,
we are satisfied. Our stomach are full. That is the reason.
So you become complacent.
No, if you are satisfied, if the parents are providing, then I don't have to bother. Exactly, I don't have to bother to look for a job because parents are satisfied. I mean, parents are giving me what to eat and what to put on. Me, I grew up knowing that I have to clothe myself because I would dig. I would first of all dig a family garden and again go to my personal garden where I would get money to buy clothes and also to buy books. But here you are given everything and you cannot see how to survive in the market. Yeah.
But again, I would want us to look at these institutions categorically, as I was saying earlier. Let us first of all look at the education system.
Yes.
Then, in my opinion, it is a contributor to the status quo of how we turn out to be, of why we turn out the way we do turn out when in regards to employment. I'll give you an example. I went to primary school for 7 years, before which I had been to nursery. And later on I went to my secondary for the 4 years, then later the 2 years. In that time, the 2 years in nursery, plus these are 9 years, add the 6 years, that is about 15 years, before I joined my campus or my university. In these 15 years, I did not learn any skill. 15 years. 15 years, those are 3 governments. In 3 governments, I did not learn any skill, and this I'm speaking honestly. Any skill. I wasn't taught in school even to make an envelope, even to make a candle, even to make soap, but these are very, very simple things to do even in your backyard.
Yes.
As we have this argument of employable people, employable youth, employable whatever, so be it, there's no way, in my opinion, Asabit, that we can preclude the contribution of education system. I was taught a lot of Napoleon, a lot of Reynolds, a lot of
Tennessee Valley.
You can imagine.
Yes.
But now one talked about work etiquette. No one talked about timekeeping. No one talked about all these things that you train people today. No one. But for 15 years, you can imagine if these things were said to me or were taught to me from the very early age. And this is why this girl in Israel was telling you the same thing. Because some of these things are part of their livelihood. And as you said...
Actually, Felix, also to supplement on what you've said, because of that system, for example, if a person dropped out of school at primary 7, are there some skills that can sustain that child? A person fees, maybe the parents have died or the guardians, a person broke a senior 4 out of what they have learned in school, not what they are going to learn somewhere else.
Can they sustain themselves?
Can they sustain themselves?
Again, and I'll ask you.
If a person dropped out at senior 6, now how many years are those?
15
can
years.
we say that out of what I learned from school, now I can live a life?
So, please make a comment about the education system. In your experience, how would you relate to that?
Of course, I would relate it to, I wouldn't want to rubbish it, but really, education system is one thing, and even the policymakers, they know. They are trying to change the curriculum, but It's still wanting. Let's focus on skilling the youth in these hands-on skills like soap making, like carpentry, vocational training skills, all that. Because if you do that, you'll be able to employ yourself. Be able to employ yourself.
So because and the reason why I brought that up is that, and as Robert asked, the rate of school dropouts today has increased by far. Just look at the most previous release of the exams, even the report, for that matter, for the Ministry of Education. You look at the dropouts, but what can they do? Let's imagine someone is not going to proceed from S4. Can they use the time they have spent in school to make sense of their lives? And these are the questions you ask every day, and that is why sometimes you end up with too much work to do when it comes to skilling these people. But then, apart from that, let me just look at two issues. One, the employers. What are the expectations of the employers vis-a-vis those of the employees?
Yeah, the employers do expect, as I told you earlier, do expect someone to come on board who is knowledgeable, who has experience, which is very unfair. I finished campus and you tell me 4 years experience. It's very unfair.
Because they are sure if you've not worked somewhere previously, you're unemployable, not qualified. So what are you going to put on table? Because I think here, Sabit, we have an issue.
And they don't have time to train.
They don't have time. Because you have an issue where you have qualified people, but are not employable. And because they don't have the skills to do what they have studied for maybe for the rest of the time until we get them. So now the employer is scared. I'd rather have someone who has experience and knows what they are going to do than training on job. It becomes a problem. We've talked about the internship process of today. You know, this thing in many institutions, when these universities, these colleges release these people for internship, this is a fact. Very few. And that is why we are proud of UBC. Because a person can come to UBC as an intern, but by the time that person leaves this institution, at least they have whatever it takes to do that job. But most of the institutions you go there, these interns, they're just loitering around, they are more visitors. So at the end of the day, even our education system, the lecturers will come, sit there, ask a person, how was she performing, how was he performing? Also the lecturer is just aiming at, I visited where you did your internship, I made a report about you, so you passed. But not looking at, can I see some of the works you've done? Can I see some of the projects you've taken under internship? We are just doing things for formalities. Now if an employer, I know about that, that this person I'm going to give this job will mess things up, I'll rather say, at least I employ someone with working experience. I see the requirements of at least 3 years. Because someone has had these problems and has solved them for me. Now when you come to my job, I begin maximizing profits.
But it's unfair. It's unfair because this is a culture in our education system of what you have said. But if you finish campus and they ask you 4 years experience, really it's very unfair. To me, actually, our organization, the region valuers and surveyors, we prefer to employ those who have just finished campus. And actual organizations come and take them away, take our staff away, because we have employed them, we have put in resources and employed them. They are now employable, they have experience.
So you get surveyors from whichever institution, name withheld, that are not employable but have qualified, but they have the qualifications. Now that also beats the language. You know, you have the qualification, means you qualify for that job, but then you don't have the skills for that job.
You're not suitable.
You're not suitable for that job.
You could be qualified, but you may not be suitable.
So you labor again to train these people.
Train them.
So what is the use of us paying these humongous tuitions to universities?
I also don't know. We, actually, to me, someone who has finished senior 4, someone who has finished senior 4 can be trained, can be shaped, and do all these works. including being an accountant. You can shape someone who has finished senior 4. You train him on job, 80%. Train him on job, on books of accounts, how to write a voucher, how to do this, how to do bank reconciliation, etc. And they are able to be good accountants in the future. I think we are exaggerating the. We think when you finish campus and you have to go back for masters, that's when you can be employable. No, it's about the skills. It's about hands-on.
Okay. Now let us just talk about an employee. Many a times we have said all these things are not employable. You're this, you're that. But if you don't mind highlighting a couple of aspects that people out there should look out for before they seek employment. Some of the important things that these kids out there, the graduates, even any other people, should look out for before they go to seek employment.
Yeah. I think also, much as we blame the education system, I think it should be a means to open our eyes, to see that, yes, I can make it in the market. I can make it in the market. So what you need to do is to prepare yourself. You start at campus or at any institution, preparing yourself for the marketplace. But after finishing, then you have to start researching. You read books, research.
Personal effort.
Yeah, you put in personal effort. You go to British Council, and there are some websites you cannot get on Google, and you research, and the places are open. You go and read and research. Put in personal effort. You develop yourself. If you want to be employable, you develop yourself. Now another thing, some people, they don't know how to write CVs. They don't know how to write even application letters. Now I tell my students, it's now a cake to write application letter. You just go and research on the organization, what it needs, where there are gaps, and write a proposal. Instead of an application letter, write a proposal. I am so and so, I have this experience, or I can do this, I can do A, B, C, D. And even you can put in figures. I can, when I come on board, I can do this, and the organization will give this. In that, who is that employer who doesn't want to bring that person on the table? But we are just there, and you just go on Google and even copy and paste the application letters. And
without even deleting the other names.
No, they do it. They do. So I think they should prepare. You brand yourself. They should prepare to write a thorough proposal, not application letter, thorough proposal on what you are bringing on the table. And my students whom I've taught that, they have gone and they have gotten work.
So it is first, personal effort is also very important.
Very important.
But do you think the youth, the unemployable, that you want to make employable, are aware of such efforts? Because basically, they assume that now that I have, first of all, the qualifications, automatically the job is waiting for me. I'm fit for that job. Are they aware that such extra effort is needed? I've seen a person writing an application letter, addressing it to a person with a wrong title.
The permanent secretary, as I told you.
A person writing an application letter and puts Dear Madam. You know, not even sure to whom am I addressing this letter to.
Or they address it to whom it may concern.
Or to whom, you know, but he's applying for a job.
Yes.
Now here you're talking about write a proposal. Know that organization. What value are you adding to that organization?
Yes.
This is not trained anywhere. All that is crucial, can you write a good application letter? If you don't know, go to Google. Is it templates or something? Pick from those. They will show you how to write. Everything has been so easily available to these youth, to these graduates. And now the world is saying no. That is not what we want. But do they know that that is not what you that are giving jobs really like?
Okay, please.
That's why we are here, and I think the government, the institutions, and the churches, mosques, they should tell the youth. They should tell the youth now. It's not like the past. Things have changed. Things have changed. You go here and there to look for the skills. To look for. Actually, it's not only Regina College. It's not only Regina College that is offering this. There are many organizations around that can teach you on how to develop yourself, on how to be employable, on how to attend job interviews, all that.
Okay. Yes. Now, I just want to, you did mention something about a personal development, but I think there's so much inside personal development that we can maybe share with our viewers. When you talk about personal development, what is entailed as content in personal development?
Yeah. I teach youth to first of all, the way organizations do the strategic plan. You have a personal strategic plan. You have a vision. You know where you are going. You have a mission. You have your values. You know that these are my core values. If the organization cannot accept these values, I will not go into that.
The desperate youth looking for jobs.
Yes. You have to be yourself. You have to be a rare species that everyone will look for you.
Are you aware that we have youth today that all they want is a job? No matter what, all they need and want is a job.
Yes, they are.
It is the job that comes their way, just like in our education system. There are people that are in professions because they have grades. That is what they could partake. A person wanted to be a lawyer, they end up in something because the grades.
They end up being a journalist because the grades were not very
Let me complete my example. Okay. Yeah. So they end up in another field.
Yes.
Person wanted to be a pilot. This pilot now is doing BCom. So equally, if people end up, the youth today, end up being shaped by what job is available. So are you being practical with also looking at what is available? That a person looking for a job would have what they want and they can dump an opportunity because it doesn't match with their vision.
If you sit down and plan very well on what you want and you focus on that and you put all your energies, instead of being on Facebook, WhatsApp, you put all your energies researching and reading and working towards that, you'll become a rare species and everyone will look for you. It's not about desperation. You already qualify actually to get a job. It's just a tap, to open a tap somewhere and you go in the market and you perform.
Okay, so that is, you are still giving us some of the tips.
Yes.
That a person, a youth can make themselves employable.
Yes. Yeah, also you make your objectives, you make your goals on what you want to achieve and how you want the organization to gain from your experience, from your expertise. But also, when you are lucky, like during internship, when you are lucky you are there, make sure that you do by all means you work and you make sure that you put your supervisor's task so that they see that you are willing to work, attitude towards work. You are willing to work. Recently, my friend she has a farm somewhere, and someone was lucky. She had a job, and she asked 2 weeks leave to go and prepare for graduation. Imagine. Now that person asked her, now suppose you are going to get married, how many months am I going to give you? If you want 2 weeks. If you want 2 weeks to go and prepare for graduation. I think when you go to an organization, you make sure that you show yourself that you can actually make it.
Your impact is felt.
Your impact is felt no matter how much you are getting. The problem we want to get, we are looking at how much I'm putting in the table because we are competing with others. We want to to drive a car, we want to buy land, all that. No matter how much you are getting, just be entrusted with that small one, and you'll be uplifted.
And give the best.
Yeah.
Let us give
yourself
career
the
guidance.
best. Yes.
Sabiti. In African setup, we have realized very much oftentimes that we have not invested greatly in career guidance. And later on, we see people, as Robert was saying, that your dream was to be a pilot. Or perhaps I'll borrow his example, which I know is quite relative to this show. That much as you dream to be a lawyer, you end up being a journalist. Doesn't this in its own self crush the ability to have meaningful employment? We have doctors in hospitals who are farmers. You know, that's why they pierce people with injections like they are digging. You know, all these. We have people in public service. You know, we have people in police who are meant to be these later on. The absence of career guidance manifests in how people practice these professions. And if what are you doing about, okay, what would you comment, or perhaps any efforts towards this aspect of career guidance?
Actually, I would say it is okay. You graduate as an accountant, and you go and do what you want, your passion. Because sometimes our parents are saying, you go and
But now
I want you to be a doctor. I know someone who studied medicine in Barara, and he's in NASA doing graphics, because parents wanted him to be what? A doctor.
But those are 5 years wasted.
And he provided, this is your degree.
I went to NASA.
And I went to where. So it's about passion. It's what I want to do.
But can't we, as Sabiti, can't we have a system that tailors us towards our passion, even in the line of qualification? For example, we have countries, I don't want to use the word developed countries, because development is also relative. Sometimes there are things that happen there and they don't happen in these third world countries. But they can identify passion of a child, you know, build that passion. Career guidance is there, guide that person. I'll give an example that some time back made headlines here in Uganda. We had a young boy, 7 years, a singer, an artist, you know. And people said, if this young kid was in one of those so-called developed countries, he would go into a music, maybe academy, bring his passion, bring that. He learns instruments, he learns a lot of things. After some time, you find that he's a professor of music, a professor in this. They go and they take their passion to even greater heights. He will come to Uganda for a seminar as an expatriate, as an expert in that field. But this man, this young boy would have done music for this long time, come to Uganda, he's going to be put in a system. Even he can even graduate maybe as a veterinary doctor, but his passion is in music. So the guidance there, this career thing, we take it for granted sometimes.
It's very important.
In schools, just have a career guidance master. You know, some even go through school. There's it, apart from maybe towards exams, he will come and say give some talking, but we've not identified. These children have not been guided. That if you want this, this is what you're going to do. You know, you want to be a journalist. Why go to the law school for 5 years? At the end of the day, you end up in journalism because that is where your passion is. Wouldn't it have been better if you began by going in a journalism school, you come out, so all these, it is what we are talking about.
Comes back to career guidance.
Yes, career guidance is very important, but yes, it's very important, and the problem would be the teachers, lower secondary, and they should put in effort, but also our parents should put in effort. You should identify what does this person really like from childhood.
They should help their children realize.
Not what you love. Parents want what they love.
But you see, I also believe in that, and I'll tell you why. You see, sometimes by the virtue of being children or being minors, or even where they're not minors, you see, some people have lived long enough to know that the reason why we take children to school is not because we love the titles. Let's be honest. What's the use of being called Dr. Nyonyintono when you're a pauper? You know, counsel so and so when you're a pauper. But sometimes parents chip in now to give direction of sense to what people will become. Because when you look at the job market, and I think this is where I don't blame parents. Look at the job market. If most recent people are doing a lot of courses in B, you've had BCom, B. But when you look at the job market, you know, there was a time where we never, why would advise someone to do IT? No one. Don't do, but now it is the whole thing. Because the world has adopted. So if your child is doing, for example, doing secretarial studies vis-a-vis doing an IT, even if you wanted so much to secretary, but how many people still use facilities of secretaries when they can handle all their businesses on a tab, or appointments are made, all these things. And this is when our parents must chip in. Of course, again, there must be, this is, same thing is still about career guidance. But the challenge is, and I'll tell you that, you're guiding someone's career in a wrong setup. In a wrong setup. And this is the challenge, and I think this is where we have institutions like Ridgeline, that with all these products being given, some value must be added. Now, this is where I want us to go, that what do you exactly do at this, what do you exactly do when you get these people?
Okay.
Yes.
But before I go, what you exactly do, I wanted to comment on the career guidance.
That's okay, please go.
Yeah, I still think that parents are training. They see in their children to be employed in organizations. But you can use your passion. You can use your passion to earn a living. Now, for them, they think if you are not a doctor or if you are not ABCD, you will not do what? You will not get a job. But my passion, as a musician, I can earn a living and I can employ others.
Okay.
If I'm passionate in graphics, I don't need to be a doctor. I can go to NASA and I earn a living from NASA.
And then it's about earning a living.
Yes.
So if the passion of your child is to be, I've seen a lot of young kids around, but anyway.
And Felix, also one thing that I've observed, that in any field, if a person has passion there, with proper guidance, they can excel beyond the ordinary.
That's true.
I've seen people who have gone away from what they studied and did something else, but then this person will tell you, I'm now quitting this job to go and concentrate on my own business. It could in one way or the other not even be related at all from what the work they have been doing. But because they have the passion, they take time, they research, they build on this. That is what will bring me back, that had this person earlier on been driven towards that, you know, with good guidance, career guidance, they would have excelled, you know. Because, for example, if someone's passion is in agriculture, I have a colleague of mine, he likes agriculture so much. Now just imagine if this person was identified early enough and taken to an agricultural college.
Exactly.
Maybe Bukarasa.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
And didn't waste time in maybe doing business administration. So for about the 3 years he spent into this other profession, he was taken through that same line. Now he would have amassed a lot of knowledge, a lot of ability, connections in that field, and excelled as a farmer in that particular field.
Okay. Now,
so what do we do?
Exactly, as Ridgeline.
Yeah, we focus on not only graduates, but we also those who have finished senior 4 and senior 6, and they think that they are hopeless there, they cannot do anything. they come to us and we align them.
That happens a lot. People get so hopeless.
They become so hopeless and all that. And you know, God told Moses in the Bible that what do you have in your hand?
Okay.
Yes, he had a stick and he used the stick to deliver Israelites from Egypt. So we
start from where they are.
Yeah, we start from where they are and help them to have hope, to have a living. We train them to be employable.
Okay.
We train them on how to do the proposals and how to write a good CV. But again, most importantly, you know, you can get a job after probation period, even before they chase you. We train them and deploy them to be transformers in the marketplace, to be the solution, the contemporary challenges in the marketplace. That's what we do.
Okay.
But also, we have incubation centers. We have incubation centers. If you have a business idea and you don't know what to do, how to begin, you come to us and we help you incubate until you reach somewhere and we let you go. Most youth actually, they don't have. They could be having business ideas, but they don't know where to start. Also, maybe they don't have office space. We provide that, and we train you, we host you until you are able to pay your rent, and we let you go.
Okay, now we are running out of our time, Sabiti, but of course I'm going to give you a minute as you wind up to give a message to these youth, and perhaps you can advise them on how to do things different, which is basically your field of expertise.
Yes. The youth, they have a lot of energy. You have a lot of energy and a lot of time to improve yourself. Please leave that hostel, leave that bed, and get out and start to work. Start to develop yourself. I'm writing a book. I think it will be out by July on young and flourishing. Young and flourishing, it will be out by July. It talks about the youth, how they can flourish. Even in this challenging market, you can flourish. So wake up, stuka, and you start work. You start work, you can do anything. You can do anything as you, and that thing you are doing, please be exceptional. Be exceptional. That thing you are doing, be so exceptional, then you will be able to prosper in the marketplace. But if you are able to get a job, my friends, if you are able to get a job, be that rare special that every organization will be looking for. That's why some banks, they start fighting for employees. You go to Stanchart and then they buy you out. You go to Stanbic, they buy you out. You go to Centenary Bank because you are a rare special. There is that thing that you need to be, that every organization will be looking for you.
Well, so much said, and today's topic is quite realistic, and if you must agree with me, our viewers, that we have reached a time where we must equip ourselves to be purposeful with a vision, but of course later on we must have value to add. And as I said, employment is about value addition. So check yourselves as you look for these jobs. What value do you bring on the table? Importantly for our brothers and our sisters out there who are striving to get a living. Before we try to cry foul play that government has not provided this, that, and this, how much value can we bring to the table? Regardless, by the way, and this cuts across, even in relationships, even in marriages, even in friendships.
We have lamented much. Yes. We have lamented too much. We should stop. We should stop
the lamenting and get our feet wet.
Yes.
To do some action, which is a very good thing, I do believe. But of course, with that, we come to the end of our GMU agenda. Thank you so much, Sabiti, for making it.
Thank you,
and we will always call on you to talk to our brothers and sisters out there. And Robert, thank you so much. Now we'll take a break. We give you our quote of the day, and Ruben will come on to give you the sports updates. Good morning.